3 words that describe Mrs. Sutter are generous, helpful, loving.
Miss Sutter is creative, nice,
Bossy,
Tough.
kind,
Engaging.
and respected.
Having her as my buddy, working together with her, just learning from her. You're gonna be missed, Mrs. Sutter. Oh, okay.
The first memory is when I came into open house a year before my daughter came, and she kicked me out because I was not supposed to be stalking the kindergarten room at the time. That was our first meeting.
My fondest moment was when a little boy lost his jacket. And I went down to her classroom to go give him the jacket. And as I walked in, she said, "Mrs. Grigi, is that Billy's jacket?" And I said, "Yeah, Miss Sutter, it is." And she goes, "Billy, you give me a chip." And all of a sudden, I felt really bad for Billy. And he came over to me, and I remember leaning into him saying, "Sorry, kid," gave him his jacket and walked out.
So we walked down to her class one day to do Big Buddies, and I brought my coffee cup, and I set it on the counter in back by the window, far from the kids, where I knew it would be safe. And then the inevitable happened. One of the kids did something that knocked over my coffee, and it spilled all over her counter. And I thought, okay, that's it. I just have to submit my resignation right now. I'm fired. That's it. I'm done. She was very gracious, and she even helped me clean up the mess. So I knew after that day it would be okay.
My fondest moment with Miss Sutter was when I was first starting to take over the K-1 class last year, and she gave me lots and lots of tips, but the number one tip she gave me was to keep a notebook and write everything down, and she kept saying that over and over, keep a notebook. So I kept a notebook.
My most fondest memory of Miss Sutter would be definitely her enthusiasm and celebrating Chinese New Year.
We would do the dragon parade where she would have the dragon head, and she would be at the front of the dragon parade, going up and down like with the dragon that you see at the Chinese New Year parade.
She gives us Chinese music to play over the loudspeaker, and they parade, and the Chinese dragon with the troop does its thing, and it's really nice.
The coolest thing about that day was that people were cheering and popping bubble wrap.
And she's also teaching her children to not only learn about but appreciate different cultures. And the parade is part of that.
She's given so many kids a look at the Chinese culture, not only by carrying that 500-pound dragon head around every year, but by teaching them to count in Chinese and exposing them to Chinese cooking, that hopefully it's a tradition that doesn't go completely away with her, but maybe we'll get her to come back and carry the dragon head year after year.
Miss Sutter is known for cooking her way through the alphabet.
Eating through the alphabet.
And when the hall smells terrific, we're always wondering what letter are we on today.
The favorite thing that I liked eating at Miss Sutter's would probably be their fried rice. The best letter in the alphabet that we did was D for donut. Cinnamon cookie bears, and started with the B.
She cooks every week, if not more than once a week, and the great part of being next door is benefiting from the leftovers.
And her philosophy of you don't have to like it, but you have to try it is one that became a solid foundation of our household as well.
She would ask the students, you have, if you don't like it, but you have to try it, and then you could say it's either yummy or yucky.
Her biggest pet peeve, Miss Sutter's biggest pet peeve.
She's not a big fan on kids not being responsible for themselves and their own stuff.
I don't know if Mrs. Sutter has any pet peeves, but I would say probably people who don't put their all into something.
I would think Miss Sutter's biggest pet peeve is, when somebody's not pulling their own weight. I think you're making sure that we all are doing our fair share.
What's pet peeve? She never really got mad with her pet.
Is with students not listening to her and not following directions.
When kids aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Being next door, I would say being tardy. She doesn't like being tardy to pick up or being tardy to drop off. She's prompt and she likes promptness.
Miss Sutter's biggest pet peeve, I would think, is no volunteers. Not having parent volunteers.
I think Miss Sutter is a really good kindergarten teacher because she lets her students have lots of fun time.
Because she lets the kids explore and learn and actually be kids instead of pushing them to be adults too young.
She's been a kindergarten teacher for decades. She gets them. She gets what they need to do, where they need to go.
She's extremely respectful of everyone.
But it's also her hands-on. It's bringing the outside into her classroom. Who else can touch a cow's eyes, and who else can see parts of an animal, or holding her snakes, or Mrs. Sutter is hands-on.
She had a tarantula and she let us hold it. Pretty scary, but it was pretty cool.
But one thing a lot of people don't know about Mrs. Sutter is how she is the first person to offer help.
Every day there's a constant buzz in that classroom, whether it's a cooking day, or they're sewing, or they're making tie-dye shirts, or they're making clay pots. They're getting ready for their Three Little Pigs skit. There's always things going on, and kids are always moving, and they're never sitting and wasting time. They always have places to go and things to do, which is great, and it keeps them moving, and they're always happy.
I would have to say when she dresses up as her Dr. Seuss cat in the hat, I think those are spectacular. I think the kids get a really kick out of it, of seeing her as Dr. Seuss and her bow tie and her hat. And it's a lot of fun.
She's always willing to share everything that she has. She's willing to drop what she's doing to help you. So, her kindness.
Thank you, Mrs. Sutter. Thank you for teaching us. Bye. Thank you, Miss Sutter, and happy retirement. Bye, Miss Sutter. Thanks for teaching me.
All right, Miss Sutter, I have to wholeheartedly say thank you for everything you've done for me. You've been an inspiration. Starting out fairly new here, you really took me under your wing and guided me. You took me to Morrison's and bought me a shopping cart full of stuff. Anytime I need something, you're there to give it to me, whether it's yarn or ribbon, or you're gonna go to Costco and get whatever we need. You've taught me that I don't have to stick to the curriculum. I can go off the script, and I can take time to make clay projects. I can take time for play. I can take time for a field day. And it's just great to have an influence like you who allows me to grow and become a better teacher every day, every year. So thank you for all you've done, and come back and help. We'll take it.
Hi, Mrs. Sutter. How can you leave Cabrillo? You've been to you're part of Cabrillo, but I know you're going to have a happy retirement, and we will miss you dearly, as all the students will, and all the parents who were hoping that their children would get you for kindergarten. I have enjoyed having food that you've brought up as you cook through the alphabet. Guacamole is one of my favorites, apple pie. I know you will have a wonderful time afterwards, and please come back and visit, and you will be missed dearly. Thank you.
Okay, Mrs. Sutter, I told you a couple years ago, when you retire, I'm going to give you a year off, and then I'm coming to you, and we're going to write that book, Eating Through the Alphabet. Thanks.
Miss Sutter, I am so sad that I only had the privilege of working with you for 2 years. It's been a great 2 years. You helped me a lot, and I'm gonna miss you. Come back.
Mrs. Sutter, it's not goodbye. It's till I see you again, and we'll get together. And you have a very long legacy here at Cabrillo and in the Pacifica community. So I think we're going to be feeling the effects of your teaching for a good couple generations.
Mrs. Sutter, you are my mentor. You are my friend. You are like a sister. And I've been blessed that you have taught both my children and that you are our friend. You have touched the lives of everyone that you've come in contact with. And for that, we are so blessed and so fortunate. And I hope in the future, after you have a little time for yourself, that you continue to surround yourself with children and teachers. I love you.
Miss Sutter, there's gonna be a huge hole here when you go. We're gonna miss you so much, but I wanna thank you for changing my life in so many ways. First of all, for all the mom talks that we had and you helping me deal with the caring of my mom. And thanks for making me a tougher parent by teaching the kids life's not fair, you don't have to like it, but you gotta try it, and all the other little quotes that I carry with me. And thanks for believing in me and helping me to get a job here, because it changed my life forever. And I'll forever be indebted to you for so many things. So I love you, Miss Sutter, and I'm gonna miss you greatly.
Hello, Miss Sutter. First of all, I want to say congratulations on your retirement. You are one of the most hardworking, most dedicated teachers that I have had the pleasure of knowing. Your legacy will live on. I don't know how we're ever going to not say, well, Miss Sutter. I'm going to miss you strolling your cart to your car with all of your boxes of goodies. I'm going to miss your assertiveness during our staff meetings, your push for reading and the readathon, and of course the Dragon Parade, and always borrowing a potato slicer or any cooking utensil that I may not have in my classroom. I love hearing how your past students talk about you cooking through the alphabet, and I remember doing that with Miss Sutter. So please enjoy your time with your family and relax, and congratulations.
Thanks, Mrs. Sutter, for all the years of dedication, for always remembering my mom, and for everything you've done here at Cabrillo School.
The golden years are gone with Mrs. Sutter leaving. Those are the true. She is kindergarten. It's how kindergarten should be. I thank you, Mrs. Sutter, for bringing all of that to the thousands of children you taught in Pacifica, and you're gonna be missed. I'm gonna miss my friend, I'm gonna miss my buddy, but we will keep in touch. Best of luck to you, and thank you for all your wisdom and your love and sharing your passion of teaching with all of us. And with Dr. Freitas gone and Mrs. Sutter gone, Cabrillo won't be the same. Best of luck, Mrs. Sutter. I love you.
Hi.
How you doing?
Fine. I've never really been on TV before.
Can we ever cut and edit? You know how it is when you're under the gun. All of a sudden, it's like the complete.
Look in the camera.
We'll just
Look at you.
first. Yeah.
Okay.
So, describe Miss Sutter. Fill in this blank. Okay. Miss Sutter is known for.
I have too many choices. Are you going to edit this? I hope.
Oh my gosh, 3 words. 3 words to describe Mrs. Sutter is wonderful teacher. That's 2 words.
Celeste Grabowski,
Um,
please meet your mom in front of Kenny's. Celeste Grabowski, meet your
Let's
mom
see.
in front of Kenny's. Thank you.
Are you going to edit that out? You'll edit all this out.
Thanks, Miss Bridgie.
Am I the only one doing this?
So early, yeah. I haven't even asked you a question
I
yet.
know. Okay, maybe I need to walk away.
Okay, go
Just
ahead.
go.
Okay.
All right. So 3 words.
Are you previewing this?
No, I'm just coordinating. Miss Sutter's biggest pet peeve.
What happens if I don't know the answer?
That you have taught both my children and that you are our friend. And I'm so happy for you.
Oh.
Did I run out of time?
No, you just did like that.
Okay.
And they just
That's
fucked
okay.
up.
I
That was
didn't want to
perfect, though.
cry.
That was good.
I didn't want to cry. Are we done or should we
No,
keep going?
keep going.
You'll okay.
Yeah.
Am I gonna have a chance to are you gonna edit in case I fumble?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, can we do cuts?
You can do it. You can do it.
Are you gonna be able to cut these?
I'll be able to cut it all up and I'll use the good stuff. Perfect. Yeah.
Now I'm crying. Oh, Johnny.
That was good.
Oh, and I didn't want to cry. It's okay.